Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today I'm working on the Mustang a little bit more, and kind of wanted to show you guys some of the wiring that I did. I did end up getting the brake lights wired up, so I did run the taillight wiring and headlight wiring in the last video. And this video, well, before I started making the video, I ended up wiring the brake lights as well. So I have the power wire coming from a fused power on the fuel pump side of things. So I have like a big 4-gauge wire running to a splitter to power my pumps, and it's fused on the one end of the fused block thing, and I ran just a small wire off of one of those fuses to tap into the brake lights, so it will have a constant power all the time, because the fuel pump wiring before it gets to the switch and all that stuff is constant. So I ran it off of that to the lights, so I'll be able to have brake light power all the time and not just when the lights are on, kind of thing. So now when I hit the brakes, oh, I gotta turn the fucking key on. I'm an idiot. So I'm gonna set the camera up here so you guys can see the lights, because honestly I haven't even seen them myself. I don't think this fucker's gonna fit. Oop, yeah, it will. So we got the brake lights working. I don't know if they look yellow or if they look red. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to watch this video and see how they look. But obviously I want to take the taillights off, and I want to actually paint this red. This yellow portion of the taillight, I want to paint that kind of red, or put some red something over it, and then tint the taillights. So I probably do that in another video at some point when it gets a little warmer out. But to wire the brake lights, I actually went through and I ran power on the one side from that constant power like I was saying. And then I ran, I spliced them in together, so we have a splice connection right here. And this runs over to the bulb on that side, so we have power for both bulbs. And then I also ran a ground, so there's a ground. So the other portion of the wire right here is the ground wire, and this runs over, tees into the ground on this bulb, and then this wire runs up to the brake switch. So when we get up to the brake switch, we have a... So the brake switch is right up here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but we have a brake switch right there. So when you push on this thing, it closes that circuit. And I ran one end of the brake switch down to a ground over here, and then the other wire is what goes to the ground side of both bulbs. So when we close that circuit, it activates the ground for the bulbs and turns them on. So brake lights and headlights and taillights are all wired up. Very happy about that. Now I can actually kind of street drive the car and not worry about getting rear-ended or anything like that. So this car is now pretty much ready to drive on the street safely. A heater would be fucking nice in the cold weather, but it honestly doesn't get too cold inside the car, actually, because it has so many holes in the firewall that a lot of the engine heat kind of comes into the cab anyways. That is another thing that I would like to do, is kind of patch up some of these holes on the firewall to kind of, block a lot of that airflow from getting into the cab. I'm not really worried about the engine heat coming into the cab. I'm mainly just worried about like a lot of the blow-by coming from the valve covers or anything. If I do put a catch can on it or whatever, I don't want a lot of that smoke coming into the car, because that stuff stinks. And I want to get a catch can on the car soon. Obviously, I want to maybe do what Cletus did and put a filter on the end of the oil cap here, or like a breather on the end of the oil cap, and then maybe a breather here, and then a breather on the back. I don't know if that'll be enough, or if I should actually run a catch can. I probably should just fucking put a dash 10 on this valve cover and a dash 10 on that valve cover and run them to a can, positioned over here or something like that. I do think I should do that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So anyways, next I want to actually try to tackle the windows. So this car has a power window on both sides, and obviously I gutted all the wiring out of this car so the windows do not roll up or down. And At the track, it's a lot easier to just roll the window down to grab your time slip than it is to open the door, especially with this door, because I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but when I drive this thing, I don't shut the door all the way, especially if I'm driving by myself and just like kind of driving it on the street or something like that, because when the door is cracked like this a little bit, it is fine. I can open it, no problems. Everything opens just fine from the inside. But when I slam the door and it shuts all the way, I can open it from the outside. Fucking Ford door handles fucking suck. There we go. But the cage is actually rubbing right here. You can actually see where the cage is rubbing, and you can see the paint right here where the paint came off of the cage from it rubbing against the bar right here. So this normally isn't a problem, but this door panel specifically has a big step out on it. I don't know if you guys can see, but it has like a good 3 inches or so from the actual door panel to this like handle that comes out right here. So when I shut the door all the way, this handle right here doesn't have enough like pull on it to like I have to pull the door in farther and pull the handle at the same time for the door to actually pop off of the latch. So that's another thing that's just kind of annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the door panel completely off so we can access the window motor for the power window, and take this handle off and possibly modify the handle or like cut it down a little bit or hit it with a sledgehammer or something so I can actually shut the door all the way and still open it again from the inside, because yeah, it got so bad where if I actually shut the door all the way when I was at the racetrack, I'd have to crawl out of the other side and then come to the outside of the door to actually pop the door back open. So I'm going to start by ripping that damn door panel off, and we can kind of see what we got going on from there. But it is snowing outside again today, so not really being able to drive anything or do any street tuning or anything fun like that. I do hope maybe next week or something we can get out and go driving a little bit, whether it's in the Mustang or the Hondas or whatever the case. But like, even as you guys can see, this thing's been sitting in my garage and it has like fucking frost on the head studs. If you look at the ARP head stud on the cylinder head there, it is full of frost. All the manifold bolts are full of frost. The turbo has some frost on it, or it did. The turbo actually thawed out a little bit because I was in here wrenching with the heater on. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Another funny thing I kind of wanted to mention to you guys is I've been using this propane torch from Harbor Freight. It was like 15 bucks or 20 bucks, and I've been using it to heat my garage. This thing actually heats my garage, which is kind of crazy, but it gets it warm in here just from that propane torch. I've been using a mixture of that and the kerosene heater, but this kerosene heater, it tends to get fumy in here, and I tend to get a little bit high. You know, I get stoned off of the kerosene heater, so I've been trying to limit the use on this thing and use more of the propane, because I think the propane kind of just naturally burns cleaner than the kerosene heater, but the kerosene heater definitely gets it a lot warmer, a lot faster. But the propane one does work for the time being. You know, as long as it's not like 20 below, that thing works just fine. All right, guys, figured you'd get a little laugh out of this. You know, I just had to fix my sweatshirt real quick, but you know, I don't know. I changed my sweatshirt because, well, my e-cig always fucking opens the cap inside my pocket. It's so annoying. But like, the top of this e-cig has like a slider thing on it, and it opens up when it's in my pocket, and then it leaks frickin' juice all over my pocket. So I had to change my sweatshirt, and I didn't really have any clean sweatshirts, and this one was laying in my closet like I was gonna throw it out because because the zipper's busted on it. Like, the zipper is completely broken. So I probably could have just gotten the zipper fixed on this sweatshirt, but I figured it'd be way more cool to put zip ties in my sweatshirt, and it feels totally normal. Like, this is like totally rockable. Like, I'm gonna rock this the rest of the night. I might have to cut the pigtails off though, or the fucking end of the zip tie there. Might have to cut those off. Alrighty, now that my hands and feet are warmed up, we got to working on the Mustang a little bit more, and I wanted to show you guys some updates. So I grabbed my battery charger and I took the door panel off of this thing. So the door panel is sitting here off, and I can access the wiring to the window motor, which is over here. So grab my handy dandy flashlight here. So this is the wiring that goes to the power window motor on the Mustang. It's got a yellow wire and a white wire, and then on the other end, on the motor side of things, it's a little bit different color, but that doesn't matter. So what I ended up doing is I traced back all this wiring to the switch, and the switch has quite complex setup going on. So the switch is, it's a window switch. So it's got a bunch of ways to ground and power the motor. I think what happens on these switches is power goes like directly in the center of it, and then when you rock it one way, it grounds one way, and then when you rock it the other way, it grounds the other way. So how these motors work is if you put power to them, if you put power to positive on the yellow and ground on the white, it will go one way, and if you put positive on the white and ground on the yellow, it will go the other way. And that's kind of a simple way to put it. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find a switch or something to wire this up, and talked to a couple buddies, and they said that you can't use like a regular 3-position switch. So like if you have a switch that's in the middle is like neutral, and then up is one way and then down is another way, 3 positions on the switch, it wouldn't work with this because there's only 2 wires coming off of the motor, and you have to put positive, you have to flip, you have to have a momentary like switch that can flip positive and negatives around, if that makes any sense. So what I ended up doing is obviously the parts store doesn't really have anything like that laying around, and I contemplated for like the last few days of how I wanted to do this and how I was going to do it. I was honestly like ready to just have a push button for up and then a push button for down or something like that, just to kind of keep it simple. But honestly, this will keep it even simpler, and I'm going to actually utilize the factory window switch. So I found the factory window switch in the door panel, obviously, and I was going through the wires and testing them with the multimeter and testing continuity to see kind of what switch does what and what wire controls what thing. And I ended up figuring out what wire actually powers the whole switch panel. So when I put power to those 2 wires, the switch, like the switch panel, window switch panel, gets powered. So when you go up or down, the switch works how it would factory. So I found these 2 wires. So there's a pink wire where the red prong of my testing probe here is. I have the pink wire with the red positive, and then there's a black wire right next to it. There's 2 different plugs here. One of the plug-ins is actually for the window lock mechanism, which I actually cut all that shit off of the switch to kind of keep the wiring down, because I'm not going to be utilizing door locks. But this is the power and ground for the switch. So if I put power and ground right here with my 2 probes off my battery charger there, these are just old multimeter leads coming off the battery charger, and I just turn the battery charger to maintainer, and then if we have power to those, we can hit the switch and everything works. So that is pretty sweet. I've been going up and down with this window for a while, and it was actually kind of stumping me for a little bit because I would put power to some wires and then put power to another, and nothing would work because I forgot when this car was actually like, it still had working factory windows and everything. I always had to like pound on the door panel to get the motor to like activate. So I think this motor, this window motor, is like kind of on its way out. So I ended up kind of lubing up the tracks, and I lubed up like there's like a little cog gear in here. I sprayed a little bit of WD-40 on there, sprayed a little WD-40 on the slider thing right here, and on the window seals I also sprayed WD-40 to kind of loosen things up a bit, because this has been sitting with the windows up for quite some time, and kind of just get things freed up. And as you guys can see, the window is traveling pretty freely. It's still a little slow, but it's not bad. Me and my buddies always used to joke around in high school because we would sit around at the park, at midnight like a bunch of rebels, and we would always have window races, and Fords usually always had the fastest fucking windows, but not this fucking Ford. She's a little worn out. So anyways, what I'm doing is I just took the power and ground from this, and I traced the wiring all the way through the harness here and all the way through the door. I still have this wiring chilling in the car that comes through the door, and the two wires are this red one and this pink one right here. So I can just cut these off. One of them is going to be ground and one of them is going to be power, and I can just run power from a accessory switch. So I have an accessory switch. This first switch right here is accessory, so it turns on my gauges and stuff like that. I think I'm going to run the accessory, so when the accessory is on, the windows will work. And I'm going to run the power and ground to that switch, so it's integrated in. And then once, like I said, once I have the accessory switch flipped on, the window will operate. Or I'll just run it power and ground constant. I'm not sure if I want to do constant. I'd rather do a switched power, I think. Or just take constant power from the fuse panel that I have, and it'll have constant power all the time, but it'll still be fused. So I may end up doing that. I'm not 100% sure yet. But yeah, at least I got the window situation figured out, and we got the brake lights operating, and the tail lights, and the headlights, and the corner lights. So this thing is like full street car again. Able to drive around and not worry about anything, honestly. I could probably just drive it around on the street and not even get fucking hassled, I'm hoping. I forgot, I was going to talk about something and I totally forgot what I was going to talk about. This is what happens all the time. Damn it. All I know is I'm hella excited to go racing very soon here, guys. Like super stoked, actually. It's on the tip of my fucking tongue. I know what I was going to say and I can't remember what I was going to fucking say. God damn it. But anyways, I was actually kind of creeping on WIR's Facebook page. If you guys do not follow WIR, that's where I usually go racing, Wisconsin International Raceway. I go there, and lately, the last year, we went down to Union Grove with the Mustang. I do plan on going back down to Union Grove a few times this year. I just don't know exactly when I'm going to. But all I know is I'm extremely excited to go racing again. The track actually opens the 13th or 14th of April, I believe, so it's like a month away. A little more than a month, so a couple weeks, 4 or 5 weeks here, and we'll be able to go make some passes in the Mustang, I'm hoping. So I did get those weld wheels, so I have to find some shank style lug nuts to run those wheels, and I also have to get a catch can still, and possibly radiator and tranny cooler. And this thing, honestly, like, I'm just gonna fucking give it the moon boost. Give it the moon boost. That's a fucking saying I've been hearing a lot lately. Oh, I'm gonna give this thing moon boost. Alrighty guys, so I got the door panel back on. I have the wiring coming off of the starter signal. Because the starter signal had a constant fused power, and I tapped into that to run to the switch that controls the window, and then I grounded the other end, the ground side. I grounded to the same spot that I did a couple other grounds. So everything is plumbed in. I got the panel back on, and as you can see, if we hit down, it works. Like I was saying, guys, that this motor, it literally worked like 100 times before I filmed this, so that's funny. But this motor might be getting a little tired or something, so I have to bang on the door panel to get it to work sometimes. But as you guys can see, everything is good to go. Down, up, just like factory. So that is really cool. I don't have the passenger side operating yet. I'm probably going to do something similar on that side. Just to control that switch over there, because I don't really care to control both of them over here, because that'd be a little bit more wiring for this side, and then I'd have to run wiring from this side to that side, and I don't really want to deal with that. But maybe I will. I'm not exactly sure, but the main thing is I just wanted to get the driver window working, so when I'm in the car, shut the door, roll the window down. That is badass. Man, it's the little things in life, guys, that really fucking get you, huh? Also, I fixed my door. So, I was telling you guys earlier that this part of the door panel was rubbing on the cage. So what I did is I actually took this piece and I put it in the vise and I kind of like bent it. So now the door is all the way shut. I can roll the window down to verify. And we have, yep, no fucking gap over here, so we got the door fully shut. And all I do is pull the fucking handle, and the door opens perfectly. So that really fucking made my night right there. That is awesome. Get out of this fucking cage. So that is super cool. That I got the window working, and I have the door fully functioning now, so I can actually shut it all the way and not have to worry about getting in and out of it, because main thing is I was really paranoid when I raced it at GLD this last fall. I was racing at Great Lakes Dragway, and I actually made my passes with my door cracked because I didn't want the you know, if I crashed or something like that, I wanted to be able to get out, because I couldn't roll my window down, and I could not open the door when it was all the way shut. So now I can roll the window down and open the door. So that is awesome. I'm super stoked. Probably gonna call it a night for tonight. A couple other things I want to do is I want to like tint the windshield with black spray paint and cover up all this goop that's around the windshield. I want to put a support brace in the middle of the windshield somewhere. Just run like a bar from like the bottom middle here to the bottom top, because, you know, at 150 miles an hour this thing might flex a little bit, but I don't know. Like I said, I want to trim, you know, kind of make some homemade black spray paint, or maybe the lens tint for the taillights. I might cover up a lot of this fucking window caulk and whatnot, so that'll be another thing we can do. Obviously this is a plexiglass windshield, so but anyways, that's gonna do it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this fucking boring video. The channel will get way more exciting coming very soon. Let me just tell you. I'm just kind of doing little things here and there to keep myself busy and keep myself from going insane. But anyways, so thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, please hit the like button. If you guys hit the like button, if you made it all the way to the end, I would appreciate if you did hit the like button, because you watched my boring ass for fucking 20 minutes or however long this video is. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.